Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is April 18th, and today's episode is going to cover some deposit pool action. We're going to be talking about Phiz's guide for airdropping protocols, and we're going to be talking about social media interactions and the crypto price. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
So the first thing we're going to be talking about today is the deposit pool and how that's looking right now. So this morning we had Gnosis active treasury management depositing 2,000 ETH into the deposit pool and minting a whole lot of our ETH with that, which is really wonderful to see. It feels like it's been a really long while since we've seen like these big whale deposits, and that's because it has been quite a long while. Let's go to Rocket Scan and see what's going on over here. So with Rocket Scan, we can see here that the deposit pool size, of course, is 18,000 ETH, but the balance in there is 9,000 ETH right now. So it's only half full. That means that there's not that much demand right now for minting our ETH, but there's also not a huge rush to sell or burn our ETH as well. And as you can see in the top right graph, that this is actually a really rare instance that we are kind of just like chilling with some space in the deposit pool. Like the normal state of the deposit pool has historically either been that it's been empty or that it's been full. And it's not often that you'll see it kind of just like in the middle the way it is right now. It tends to like oscillate between those two states. So it's really curious to see how that's going to be going forwards, and once this whole EigenLayer and LRT stuff kind of like people move on from that, it's going to be interesting to see how many of those people come back to Rocket Pool. Hopefully there'll be a lot of them. So here you can see the 2,000 ETH deposit that was made this morning, and on the daily today we've had 2,215 ETH deposited into the deposit pool, and this is actually the best deposit day since January 15th, and like basically it's been the last time we had this amount of activity was basically 3 months ago. So it's been a while, and it's looking like at the moment like we're in that position right where we need to see ETH going back to Rocket Pool, and we're not in that position right now, but hopefully we will be soon. Okay, since we've been talking about airdrops so much these last few days, Phiz here wrote a guide he's in the process of writing a guide for protocols that want to airdrop to home stakers and solo stakers. So he said, I'm writing a guide to best practice for airdroppers who want to airdrop to stakers. Can you remind me of do's and don'ts? Please keep this generic to home stakers, not necessarily just Rocket Pool. So I started to give him some feedback. I said the first thing to do would be when the claim happens, make it a non-transferable token. And the reason why this should happen is because the cost basis for that token is then $0, and there's no need to pay income tax on that in some jurisdictions. It's just treated as zero value deposit, and then as it becomes tradable and it starts, it has value, then when you sell it, it'll be capital gains instead of income. And of course, that's only like over a year. For less than a year in the US, it is for less than a year it is it's kind of classed as that'll be income, but over a year, if you want to hold it, then that'll be as capital gains. Now the good thing about that is there won't be any incentive, like there won't be any pressure to dump it right away, which is kind of what we have now with tokens. People will sell half or a third or some amount of it just to put money aside to not have to pay income tax on that. With the token being locked, then it's just beneficial for everyone, and it doesn't have to be for long. It just, like, I think 90% of airdrop claims happen within the first week. You can even leave the claim open for people who do want to have a cost basis on the token for some reason, but maybe for the first week, they could keep it as a zero basis. So Phiz then kind of just asked the question to explain that. I said another thing would be letting people claim from like a secondary wallet. So for example, if the airdrop is coming to your node or to your withdrawal address, people don't want to use those addresses because they feel like they will what can happen is they might be putting those into positions of compromise potentially, and they don't want that to happen. We saw this with the Omni airdrop in the Rocket Pool community. A whole bunch of people were really hesitant to use their withdrawal address or use their node address, and the node address was a little bit less problematic, but the withdrawal address, people were really hesitant about using that to claim the Omni airdrop. Now, one way of avoiding that would be to use like a third wallet, like a hot wallet or something like that, and do a claim on behalf. So then you'd enter an address for which that you're claiming on behalf of, and then it's just a simple transaction to get you to claim that, and the token would still end up going to the wallet that it was originally eligible for. So it's not like you'd be stealing the funds or anything like that, but it just makes it easier. Now, one thing against that would be you could claim on someone else's behalf and then it would become a taxable event, and the person might not want that to happen. And you could do it in a permissionless way because you just interact with the smart contract and you could claim it on other people's behalf and cause trouble for them. But if the token was locked for the first week or whatever, then it would be the situation where they wouldn't have that issue. So that is that's something as well. And then Phiz started kind of putting together those ideas, but then Val and others were kind of joking, but Phiz kind of put together this document. So he says, provide a full list of eligible addresses so users can easily check their eligibility without connecting or signing. And then he says, recognize that claim days will cause gas spikes and server crashes. Minimize this by simplifying the process as much as possible. Claim time isn't a great time for intensive tasks and education. Communicate directly with the staking community through blog posts to let them know why you choose to airdrop to them, even if it's just a thank you, or maybe you're hoping that they'll do some action. And after the airdrop, leave the token locked on the network until the conclusion of the airdrop. This allows the token to be regarded as a zero-cost airdrop, which is advantageous for tax planning in some jurisdictions. Allow claiming on behalf of other address. This means paying for the smart contract cost with a different wallet than the recipient. Many home stakers are extremely cautious with any keys related to staking, and they'd prefer not to connect those to the network if at all possible. Refer to the published list of home stakers, like the list maintained by GLCS Staked or rated.network, and rather than developing your own list, this prevents confusion and gives you, the airdropper, a direction to refer complaints rather than dealing with frustrated users. And then says never use a cap and first come first served model to distribute airdrops to a few stakers. This causes mad frenzy and many angry participants. If you need to cut the number of recipients, use a validator index cutoff, like all validator indices before 500,000, etc. So Phiz was kind of like gathering some information. Here, Val then gave some suggestions as well. Think about who you're dropping to and why. Individuals that stake include Rocket Pool, all nodes, Rocket Pool on all nodes versus home stakers, no all nodes, Rocket Pool and the 32 ETH validators, okay? Or solo stakers, only 32 ETH validators, Kiln and all nodes, okay? This is if necessary, reach out to the relevant team and community ahead of time. Way harder to work under the gun. Narrow non-disclosure agreement if you have to as well. So then there was here Jackson had a candidate as well. Maybe more transparency over the algorithm code used to determine valid addresses. Currently, people who are seemingly identical as per the criteria are getting different results, which is not good. So then this is using a list. And then Val was talking about how the rated list is actually not a good list and the GLC's list is better. But those are things that, people can start working on. So now Phiz put this into GitHub and he's inviting people to make comments about it. And then I think he's going to share that out, like probably on his socials, and try to get it. So protocols who are potentially thinking of airdropping to solo stakers will have a read of that and hopefully make better decisions going forward. Okay, so a few weeks ago on Rocket Fuel, I talked about how the interest in Rocket Fuel was trending upwards, and I was seeing that by looking at views on my videos. And Benjamin Cowan, who gave me the idea initially to talk about that, put this tweet out today saying the BTC halving is in less than 2 days, and the social risk is at the 0 to 0.1 risk band. So like the way that these risks band work is like it tells you where the amount of social engagement that's happening, and the lower it is, the idea is that fewer people are interested, which means it's a better time to buy. But what's really interesting to see is that since the beginning of this year, actually since like October maybe of last year, the social indices have kind of been trending upwards into the beginning of this year, and then it kind of peaked a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a couple of months ago, and then since then it's just been like a vertical line down to zero interest. Like, so anyone who's kind of interested in crypto over the last few months and kind of engaging with the social media aspect of it has now lost all interest, and it's gone back down to the levels that are like really, really low historically, and meaning that it might be a good time to buy. Yeah, but what's interesting is that over here I'm seeing it on my channel too. So I just wanted to show you here that like recently, my videos have been struggling to break 100 views or like 150 views. But just a few weeks ago, I was getting over 200 views as well. I was talking about it in the show that my viewership had gone up over 100% compared to the period before then. But that has kind of like petered out. So I think RPL and Rocket Pool is kind of like losing attention. But it's not just about Rocket Pool. It's just about broader crypto market as a whole. Like that attention was really fleeting. Now, if there's any catalysts, then a lot of that attention can come back. But it's one of those situations where it's just a market-wide thing, and it's not necessarily just about Rocket Pool. It's something to keep an eye on, definitely. Okay, next, I talked about this on Rocket Fuel a few days ago, but Myso Finance are doing an IOO, which is an initial options offering, which kind of lets you buy their token if you want. And it says RETH has been added as an exclusive collateral token for the initial open offering. I think they've changed their name. In the initial option offering, it was before. Maybe the lawyers told them to change their name to initial open offering. It says, let's learn more about how you can unlock borrowing of your RETH and participate in the Myso token IOO. So here in this thread, they give you a little bit of an idea of how it works. It says the IOO is a novel distribution mechanism that allows users to participate in the Myso token MYT upside while limiting their downside. Pledge your RETH, borrow MYT, reclaim your ETH at any time prior to loan expiry. If MYT goes up, you keep it. If MYT falls, then you just reclaim your RETH. So it's actually pretty cool the way that they're doing it. It says timing is important, access limited, meaning getting in earlier would also mean better loan terms. You might be even be able to acquire MYT at the same fully diluted value terms as Myso's institutional seed investors like DSR, Wintermute, and Hashkey Group and others. And then it says Myso have been working relentlessly on bringing custom peer-to-peer loans and structured product strategies like trusted cover calls. So if Myso is something that you are interested in, if you would like to invest in Myso, they've got this really cool idea with their options. So it seems like it might be a nice way to play it. But of course, that is up to you. DeFi is risky. You can lose what you put in, expect the value to go to zero. But I'm giving Myso a huge shout out because they have over and over again shown that they're Rocket Pool aligned, and RETH is their exclusive collateral for their IOO, which is really awesome to see. So yeah, definitely check that out if you are interested. And finally, I'm going to spend a couple of minutes talking about EigenLayer. So EigenLayer have released the caps on their deposits for LSTs, and they have also set up delegation to their EigenDA nodes and also their like AVSs. So if this is something that you are interested in taking part in, you are welcome to do that. Now, the unpausing restaking deposits on April 16th happened, so all caps are removed. So EigenLayer are now happy to accept your deposits. So on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. So thank you all for listening, watching, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.